This is one of my favorite South Mountain trails. It's a desert classic. It follows the South Mountain Range south for about 20 miles down to a helicopter pad. This is the beginning of the trail. There's some really super features on this area. The desert is beautiful here. First, we're going to see some washes. You kind of dive in and climb back out again. There's a small one. And then they get a bit bigger. And then they start getting really big. Got to dive in a long way and climb out a little bit farther. And then there are the really big ones where you're diving down in across some sand and pedaling for quite a ways out the other side. Sometimes you go across these big sandy washes that's like going through mud or snow. You can really catch your front tire in there. And you get some wide open, beautiful desert here. And then you get some runners passing. And some mountain bikers passing. And some more runners. And more mountain bikers. And sometimes you get a runner or a walker with some dogglers. This guy happens to have a couple of beautiful dogs here. And then sometimes you get passed by a mountain biker. That happens to me with some alarming frequency, especially toward the end of the ride. And this is one of my favorite little side trails off of Desert Classic, Secret Trail, or Hidden Trail, I can't remember which. It's not very hidden or secret, but it's really quite nice. You'll see it's gonna wind its way up into the mountain a little bit and into some really neat canyons. The desert out here is actually quite full of plants and animals. I especially like Desert Classic at night because the coyotes, the wolves, the owls, the big centipedes come out hunting, some scorpions. During the day you see roadrunners. Later on in this video, towards the end, you'll see a desert hare running across the track. Now we're going down into a little slot canyon here. And then sometimes you go across these big rock slabs. They look pretty flat, but sometimes they're kind of treacherous. But it's all quite lovely. Farther along here, there's a kind of a rest spot that I like to come up into and have a seat, lay down my bike, and have a look at the scenery. That's where I came from. And I'll be headed out that way. You can see the trail going out that way. The desert here is just amazingly beautiful. And now we get to some of the fun parts here on the trail. Sometimes you make it up the trail on the other side. Sometimes it's easier coming up than down. And sometimes you go down in and don't make it up the other side. Sometimes coming down is easier than going up. Here you'll see I'm climbing up this side and just taking a tight turn just a little bit too much, and my front wheel stops against a rock. But coming down this same part from the other way is actually much easier and a little bit more fun. Coming down into some of these washes and out again can be challenging. Here you'll see a pedal strike and you'll see me suddenly veer over to the right to keep from falling over. Right there. So getting up this one is not that difficult, but sometimes if you hit your pedal on a rock, it can definitely throw you off. It's just a really fun ride on this part of the trail. Some parts of the trail are more almost like foresty, with lots of plants. Even at this time of the year, there's some plants blooming. The ocotillo, the brittle bush. And here you can quickly see a desert hare crossing in that square. And we're going to slow-mo it. See it coming right behind that bush, coming across the trail? And you can just see it a little bit running across in the middle of the frame there, towards the bottom. And then the last climb on the way back. It can be a bit of a long climb when you're getting tired. And there, as you can see, I waved at my wife. She was up on the hill. yelling at me. I could just hear her. She's up there like in some of the rocks right in the middle. And then cruising out to the parking lot to rack up the bike, go over to one of the covered areas and stretch out after a great ride.